Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Flight Podcast. My name is Jacob Shanker.
And I'm Andrew Thomas.
Shut up and sit down.
Well, Mr. Andrew Thomas, you're finally back.
I am indeed back. As you can see, I'm back in my setup, in my room, talking with you about sports as usual.
Exactly. How was Florida?
Florida was okay. You know, on the East Coast from where I live, it's very cold. And I went down and it was 80 degrees. And it was really hot, and it was hard doing school there because I'm sorry, it was just ridiculously hot.
It
I
was
had to
just
do it
so
outside.
hard. You had to go by the pool and do your homework and
Yeah,
all that stuff. It must
so hard.
It's such a
No,
harsh life down there.
on a reel, it was so hot. Like I was sweating all the time.
Really?
Like, yeah, it was pretty bad.
Jeez. Well, now welcome back to the cold weather.
Yep. Hopefully, we'll be all good this summer. We'll get some more Florida weather, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, since you have been gone and I have done the past two episodes, a lot has happened in the
A
NBA,
lot has happened, and I
right?
need to give my point of view on it. As you guys know, I love to give my point of views on things,
Absolutely.
especially during this podcast.
Absolutely. And the last few podcasts I was talking about the NBA, and the last one I talked about the starters and the reserves. And since the NBA came out with the All-Star reserves, me and Andrew are both going to discuss our thoughts on that. But since I already gave my opinion on the starters, I want you to tell us what you thought about the starters.
Well, okay. I love LeBron and KD. That's a lock for captain.
Mm-hmm.
Steph. The biggest problem is that Luka Doncic won over Damian Lillard. I am so sorry, Damian Lillard. That is the biggest mistake of the entire All-Star game. And okay, I understand that Steph got over Russell Westbrook when Russ was MVP, but this is Luka Doncic. This isn't Steph Curry. Damian Lillard is first team All NBA right now, in my opinion. I think you can make a case that he's also NBA second team because Steph obviously is a better point guard, but I think they both should be on the guards. I think they've both been phenomenal, and Damian Lillard should have been a starter. It is so frustrating. I completely agree with everything else, though. I do have to say that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows if they listen to the last podcast, I went completely in on it about how Damian Lillard should have he should have been a starter.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you on that.
I mean,
It's
he
just
has been a monster. He's an MVP candidate. I don't believe Luka Doncic is an MVP candidate. Luka
no
has
way.
not been able to help the Mavs. I mean, the Mavs
The Mavs are under 500
they're in the ninth seed right now. I'm pretty sure the ninth
and under
seed.
500.
Yeah,
The Blazers are what, top 5 seed. Lillard's averaging MVP numbers 30 and 8.
and he's also carrying the team without Yusuf Nurkic and CJ McCollum.
Yeah,
Which
he's been
is
incredible.
extremely impressive. And he's leading in every single clutch category there is in the game. He's
Yep.
leading everything in the NBA, which is
Guess what time it is? You know what time it is, Jacob?
it's Dame time.
It's game time.
It's Dame time. It really is. But
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous.
it really is. I feel like things like okay, I understand about the fan voting and everything and about how it has to have the majority. But at the same time, they also put Klay Thompson and Alex Caruso, and they were voted in the top 10 guards for the fan voting.
You need to disable Klay Thompson's vote. He's out for the year. Could you imagine if Klay Thompson took an all-star spot?
Oh my God. That would be insane, but it would never happen.
It's just ridiculous.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And the fact that Caruso's there, obviously, Caruso is the bald eagle. He is awesome, but it's a laughing stock.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that at least we agree on everything else, but with the reserves, right, they finally came out, and so I'm just gonna if you don't know who made it, I'll just list off. But the people from the West, it was Anthony Davis, Paul George, Rudy Gobert, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Zion Williamson. And from the East, it's Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum, and Nikola Vucevic. And a final note is that Devin Booker is going to be playing instead of Anthony Davis because he is injured. So, Andrew, I'm going to let you start off with this one, and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
Okay. There's one man that I'm looking at right now that does not deserve to be an all-star at all, and his name is Ben Simmons. How did Domantas Sabonis not get in the reserves? This is absolutely crazy. This is worse than Damian Lillard being a reserve instead of a starter. Domantas Sabonis is averaging 21, 10, and 6. That is ridiculous. He's also leading the Pacers. The Pacers are in the Eastern Conference. They are the 4th seed. They're 500, but they're still the 4th seed. It is absolutely ridiculous. He is their best player. He deserves to be an all-star. He was an all-star last year. He is the biggest snub, in my opinion, this year. He has been ridiculous, and he is not getting treated like an all-star. I'm sorry. I'm a little ballistic. That is just ridiculous, though. I am sorry. That is crazy.
You're 100% right. I don't understand why Ben Simmons made it. I mean, I understand he's a great player. He's obviously a top player in the league, and just the way that he can really play the all-around game, because he can do pretty much everything except he can't score that much. That's obviously the biggest problem with him. But yeah, come on, man. How did Sabonis not make this? I mean,
Sabonis has better numbers than last year.
Exactly.
Might I also add that Sabonis is only 24?
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much said everything that I was saying, but I mean, another thing to note is that Sabonis is better than Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a great player, but Sabonis is better than Julius Randle.
Randle, it's because of the market, and Randle deserves to be an all-star because of the way he's leading.
Yeah.
And I think that he fits better in their system than Sabonis would, but Sabonis is better than Randle, but he's way better than Simmons. And I probably would have gone even more ballistic if Randle wasn't an all-star, because Randle 100% deserved it.
Yeah.
The Knicks are in the playoff hunt. The Knicks are in the playoff hunt.
The one thing that I'm a little iffy on, I mean, I'm not necessarily mad about the pick. I just would not have chosen it, is Nikola Vucevic.
Oh, come on. Well, I get they're the 13th seed and all, but Vucevic is playing like an all-star.
It's not even that. I still think that it should have been Bam Adebayo, because Bam has just been doing just so well all around. I mean, Vucevic has been getting more points, but he always gets more points.
He's a great scorer.
Yeah, he is a great scorer. But I mean, I think just Bam Adebayo's been more efficient. He's been able to move the ball better. He's a better defender, obviously.
Yes.
Shooting, he's a better shooter. So I mean, overall,
Bam's a better shooter than Vucevic.
Bam's true shooting percentage is 63%, and
okay. Well, he's more of an efficient scorer. He's not
more of an efficient scorer. No, in terms of shooting, I mean, like 3-point
Vucevic
shooting.
is by far better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's get that out.
Sorry. But I mean, yeah, no, I'm not necessarily saying I'm mad about this pick. I mean, I'm much more mad about Ben Simmons making it.
Yeah, but I think it's because the Sixers are the number 1 seed.
That shouldn't be the case, though. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah, they have a massive fan base too.
I know, but still, like, I don't want to see Ben Simmons in this.
Yeah. I want them to come out with a full list of the rankings for the players voting too, and the media.
Yeah, I mean,
because I know the media voted a lot for Zion.
They did, and I'm not surprised they did. They always do.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was also, I mean, okay, a lot of players, before they ruled that Devin Booker was going to replace Anthony Davis, a lot of players around the league, and even just a lot of people,
LeBron
LeBron being one of those people, have been saying that Devin Booker should have made the All-Star game. First off, who would he go in front of? He's not going instead of Zion. He's not going instead of
Chris Paul is the reason that they're so high up in the season.
Exactly. I don't understand why people think, oh yeah, it's Devin Booker. It is not. Last year
was scoring a lot, but I think that the Suns would not be affected that much if Booker wasn't on the team. I think that Chris Paul would find a way. And DeAndre Ayton would be a second option.
Yeah.
And great.
I mean, they went last year from what they were like the 10th seed, and then this year,
Booker went 8-0, and he deserved to be the secondary and the bubble MVP. But in this case, Booker has not been phenomenal in
no,
anything besides scoring. He's been good, but I don't think those are all-star type numbers. And
no,
Chris Paul has been leading that team.
yeah. I mean, it's literally just scoring, which this is for the past 2 years, he'd averaged almost 27 points. This is the lowest he's had, and the last time he had these low scoring numbers was 3 years ago, which is not. I'm not saying it's bad scoring numbers, but he could be doing better, especially because Chris Paul is not like in a great scorer. Like he's a good scorer. He's not great. Like he could be. Devin Booker can be getting much more points up, but also, I mean, his shooting has been good.
For him, it's been good. For him,
it's been good. I mean, it's above average shooting, but it's still not.
Yeah, he's been good. Devin Booker has been good. I don't think he's all-star worthy, but he's been good.
No, but even now, I don't think that he should even be in it. I don't think that he should replace AD. I can name three guys that should have made it. The one guy I'll tell you is DeMar DeRozan.
Well, yeah, that's true.
The other two guys,
but I think that Booker's been better than DeRozan this season.
Overall, no. The only thing that I'll give him.
And you know what? To be honest, the Spurs are doing great, but they're just not big enough for the market. Like, come on. Like, if Tim Duncan, if the Spurs were in a bigger market, they would definitely be a much better known franchise. But because they're in San Antonio, they're not that big, and that's why they don't get a lot of fan votes.
Yeah. But still, if we're talking about like being reasonable, I think DeMar DeRozan should have made it. The other two players that I was saying that should have made it also is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Brandon Ingram.
Okay, Brandon Ingram, I agree on. Shai, I don't because of the fact that they're not winning. Like, Shai deserves to be an all-star.
No, they're doing better than that. I mean, they're doing better than I expected. Come on.
Yeah, but they're not. Shai's not going to get in over a 20 and 11 versus a 13 and 19.
Yeah, but still, it's not a team thing. I mean, obviously, it definitely helps, especially with impact. But also, like the other thing, like we were both mentioning before, the reason for the Suns' record is not Devin Booker. It's
Chris Paul.
It's Chris Paul. And I mean, the Thunder's record, which honestly, it's kind of surprised me because they've been better than I expected.
They're still a terrible seed, but
they're still a bad seed. But I mean, they're not like terrible.
They got 42 the other night.
Yeah, they're better. They're better than I thought. Because I mean, and who's the best player on the team? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But
let me just make a quick note because I'm just noticing this. The Rockets are on a 9-game losing streak.
Yeah.
After Christian Wood left. Christian Wood deserved to be an all-star. If he was playing, he should have been an all-star.
Who would he have been in front of? And like instead of Zion?
Probably. Because the fact like Christian Wood, he brought them to a 5-game winning streak. He got them. They were at the 7th seed at one point. And then he goes out. They go on a 9-game losing streak.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Let's go back to what we were talking about though.
Yeah, no, I mean he probably could have made it, but I mean, yeah, the last thing I just wanted to say was just I still don't understand why people think Devin Booker should have made it. Yeah, that's just like even Trae Young.
Oh, Trae Young should not have made it. I'm sorry. I do not like Trae Young this year. I do not like him. He could have gone in front of Ben Simmons, but he should not have gone in front of Sabonis. These are the perfect reserves besides Simmons. If Sabonis was in, this would be the perfect reserves.
Yeah. I mean,
the East, they nailed the East.
Yeah, I mean, he probably the only player that I'd say he's probably better than is, like you said, Ben Simmons. But I can name, a lot of guys better than him, even guys that didn't make the All-Star team.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Jimmy Butler.
Well, Jimmy Butler was injured. That's why he didn't get it.
But he probably could have done it. But still, I'm still going to mention him. Obviously, Sabonis. Who's another player I see in here? Malcolm Brogdon.
Brogdon's been the secondary.
But still, he's been better.
Yeah.
Even being the secondary. All right, why don't we go on to the next thing, which I know is making you very happy, Mr.
It's making me very, very happy. Very happy indeed.
Russell Westbrook fan. The Wizards, as tonight, they just beat the Nuggets, and they are on a 6 games or 7 game win streak?
Well, they lost to the Clippers, but they're 6-1
Oh,
in
yeah.
their last 7 games.
Yep. And in their last 10 games, they're 7-3. They're 12-18 in their record right now, and they're in the 12th seed. So what do you think? How is this looking? Do you think they're gonna make the playoffs?
I think they are going to make the playoffs, Mr. Schenker. I do. I think that Bradley Beal is going to carry with
Mhm.
Russell Westbrook, obviously, because Russell Westbrook is just phenomenal. The Wizards are going to the playoffs this year, in my opinion. I am not being a biased fan. I know I have a smile on my face, but it's because I'm excited. They are on a tear. They're just ripping through the East. They beat the Lakers with LeBron. That was a crazy game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're making the playoffs.
Well, who
Low
would they
seed.
go
I
instead
think
of?
they're going to make it, though.
Who would they go instead of in terms of like making the playoffs? Because I want to mind you that the Heat and the Celtics.
I believe that the Wizards will be the 8th seed.
Okay.
I think the Knicks are going to be the 7th. I think the Bulls will be the 9th. The Hornets are going to go down. The Celtics are definitely going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'll probably take out, I don't know. I think they're going to be the 8th seed. I don't think, I think that they're just going to be able to produce more wins.
I think it's going to be tough. I mean, I think the thing
It'll be tough, but I think they'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing this year, which is just it's really weird. Like there's like teams have been better this year, like a lot better.
The Knicks, the Bulls, the Hornets.
Besides the like, all right, taking out Christian Wood getting injured with the Rockets. Besides the Timberwolves and the Pistons, every other team has been good.
Yeah. Well, besides the Cavs, who went on a 10-game losing streak.
Yeah, they're 2-8 right now. But if you think about it, they're not that far back from the playoff contention.
Yep.
They're only a few games back.
All teams are good.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now the Wizards are 2.5 games back from making the 8th seed. So, I mean, it's going to be tough, but I think they definitely have a chance. I think it's going to come down to either the Bulls or the Wizards because Zach LaVine, Thaddeus Young, Wendell Carter Jr., all those guys are going on a tear right now. Kobe.
They are. They're doing good. The Bulls are doing really good.
They're doing really good.
But yeah, let's head on to the Lakers' struggles without Anthony Davis. And I just want to say this right now. I think the Lakers are going to be fine. I still think that they're going to go far in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I know that they'll be fine. But for me, this knocks LeBron out of the MVP race. I think he's still going to be first team All-NBA, but I don't think he's top 3. I think it's Embiid, Curry, and Lillard. I think those are the top 3. In my opinion, I know they didn't put Curry in, but I think that Curry has just been
Jokic
phenomenal this season. Huh?
No Jokic?
Jokic is 4th.
Mm.
Because Steph, in my opinion, has been carrying. Like, the Nuggets are just not doing great. And Jokic has been phenomenal, but his play hasn't contributed to wins. Yeah. Steph has been on a tear. He's been helping his team get wins. And when he does bad, they lose.
Yeah.
When Jokic does bad, sometimes they win. The Nuggets.
That's true. All right. In terms of the Lakers and LeBron James, I'm going to be honest, because most of you probably know. If you don't know,
Mr. Shanker is the biggest LeBron fan you will ever meet.
I'm the biggest LeBron fan you'll ever meet. But this year, watching LeBron, even just watching the Lakers, it's a different team. It's a different team than last season. I think it's a worse team. That's one thing.
I think LeBron is like starting to show his age a tiny bit.
Yes. But the other thing is, like last year, I think LeBron from last year to this year has gotten worse. Not like dramatically, but he's gotten worse. But I feel it's just a different playing style with the Lakers. I feel like last year you saw with the Lakers, it was either LeBron lobs it up to AD or they pass it out to Danny Green or KCP for a 3. That was pretty much it. But I feel like this year they're just all over the place and they really have no, like, Frank Vogel is not doing well. He's coaching, on my opinion.
Frank Vogel is not that great of a coach.
He was a fine coach, at best fine. But
He was great for the Lakers. They didn't need a good coach. They had LeBron and AD.
yeah, it doesn't matter what coach they had. They had LeBron and AD. But I
Mhm.
think this year it's showing that Frank Vogel is really not that good of a coach because they have on paper, they have a great team. Even
They have
without
a young team.
Yeah, they have a great team. Even without Anthony Davis, you still got LeBron James, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, Talen Horton-Tucker, who's actually starting to come out,
He's pretty
KCP,
underrated.
Marcus Gasol.
Well, he's not underrated. He's just not known.
Yeah, Marcus Gasol. They have a great team, a great mix of veterans and young players, and a great just all-around team. Yet Frank Vogel can't get a plan to really keep this Lakers team consistent. I thought at the beginning of the year, okay, they're struggling a bit to get into a groove, but they'll get into it. They have not gotten into it.
Yeah.
Like,
The
sure,
key is going to be the key, in my opinion. If Vogel really wants to help the Lakers, he needs to help develop Kuzma. Kuzma is decent at this point. He's
yes,
very inconsistent.
he's
He
terribly.
needs to help Kuzma on his defense. Kuzma's defense is really bad. Kuzma takes too many contested shots, and he needs to start driving in more and going in the paint because
Yeah,
that's where he thrives.
yeah. I mean, if there's anything, I mean, obviously improving someone's defense, I mean, it's tough,
It's
especially
tough.
in today's NBA game, but
Yeah.
it's obviously doable. But I think the one thing that Frank Vogel should try and get um Kyle Kuzma to do is try and average at least 10 points. Try and be consistent with it.
Yep.
Because obviously the one problem with the Lakers is not their defense, right? With Anthony Davis, they have the best defense in the league. Without Anthony Davis, it's a different story. But the one thing is their offense. Their offense is still top 10. It's arguably top 5. I think it's like borderline, but it's arguable. But the other thing that I was saying with LeBron is even though I'm a huge LeBron fan, as Andrew was saying, I can't tell you with a straight face, even when AD was playing, I can't tell you with a straight face that LeBron was an MVP frontrunner. I just couldn't. I couldn't sit there and tell you that when I'm watching Joel Embiid put up monster numbers, have a historic season when
Joel Embiid has been historic.
he's had. I mean, he had. I'm not sure if he has it right now, but at one point, a few games ago, he had the best PER of all time. It was like
Yeah.
32.4.
Yeah, something like that.
32.4.
That was at the peak. I remember looking at an article.
The last person that the highest person that got it was Wilt Chamberlain. He had 30.
Wilt Chamberlain is a top 10 NBA player of all time, may I mention, and Joel Embiid has a better PER. PER is everything combined.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I can't even tell you that I have LeBron in top 3. Top 5, sure.
Yes.
Probably 5th. Because yeah, like you said, I agree with that, having Steph and Dame and Jokic as the 2, 3, and 4.
Yep.
Because those guys I think are better. They're just playing better overall.
I think that Beal will also probably be somewhere close to that on second team if the Wizards can get more wins. Also, James Harden has been phenomenal. I'm sorry. James Harden's play has been pretty underrated.
I love watching. This is like
this next team is scary.
It's scary, but in my opinion, this is James Harden's best season.
He's been. I think it's been a great season, but I don't think it's better than when he was there in 2017.
Yes.
2017 was much better. I think his MVP season was better, and then this season.
The reason I'm saying this is obviously scoring is a huge thing, right? He was putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers, Michael Jordan numbers.
Michael Jordan, the GOAT.
Shut up. No. But he, like, aside from that, he was putting up like all these scores, the greatest scorers of all time. And he was putting up numbers like that, which is obviously phenomenal. But the one thing that I wanted him to do, and he just failed to do it for so long, was being able to be a team player and being able to play the game of basketball the right way. And he's finally doing that.
Yeah,
he's leading in pass and assists right now. He's getting rebounds. His defense has been not terrible. He's been
helping. He's been helping the Nets on their defense.
Yes, he's been.
At start he didn't, but he has been now.
Yeah, he's been shooting well. He's been able to play as a great leader on top of averaging almost 25 points, and he's the third scorer, having which is still insane for the Nets, thinking that 25 points, that's your third best scorer.
It's crazy to think that KD is still almost averaging 30.
He's almost averaging 30, and Kyrie's averaging, 27?
26, 27.
Yeah. So it's
Kyrie's averages have been going down since Harden came.
Yeah. I mean, if James Harden can have playoff success and continue to do well like this the rest of the season and in the playoffs, this will be his best year. Like,
Yeah, I think that in the playoffs, it's really going to matter because Kyrie's been inconsistent in the playoffs. Harden was great last year. He had a few flukes, but he was a few bad games, but he was great. And KD in the playoffs is always, always, always good.
absolutely. Let's go on to the last two teams that we're going to talk about are the Jazz and the Celtics, who are completely polar opposites of each other right now. The Jazz are on a tear. In their last 10 games, they're 9-1. They have the best record in the league right now of 26-6. Are they worth the hype, Andrew?
Yes, they are. If you beat out Kawhi Leonard's Clippers, LeBron James and Anthony Davis's Lakers, Chris Paul and the Suns, Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers, Steph Curry and the Warriors, Nikola Jokic, I can go on and on and on. Luka Doncic, Zion, and your best player is Donovan Mitchell, and you are the best team in the NBA. That is just ridiculous. That is incredible. They are playing as a perfect team. Good defense, good offense. They've been absolutely perfect so far. I love watching them play. It's awesome. They are a perfect example of the 2002 Sacramento Kings.
Yes.
That team was so good, and they should have won it all that year. I know the NBA wanted the Lakers to win, so they did that. I know that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Kings should have won that year. Just like the Jazz, in my opinion, have a chance at getting to the conference finals.
I think it's going to be tough, especially, if, like, I don't want to go back into it as much because we just talked a lot about the Lakers, but just going into this, if AD plays and if he can continue, if he doesn't get injured, they're probably going to make the finals, most likely, because
it's likely. We'll see how it goes, but
yeah,
it's going to be competitive because Steph is back, Jokic is back, and the Nuggets, they are an 8th seed team, but they play probably in the playoffs. The Nuggets pick up their game so much in the playoffs.
They do.
We know that. We know they're a really good playoff team.
Yeah. But going back to the Jazz, you're 100% right about them playing excellent team basketball.
Yep.
They have shooters. They're playing great defense. They're playing great on offense. They're doing everything you can do. You have Donovan Mitchell, who's an all-star, and he's one of the best players in the league right now. You have Rudy Gobert, who's also an all-star. Even though he didn't deserve that money, he's still one of the best players and one of the best centers right now.
And I think he's top 5.
Yeah.
Probably top 3.
He's top.
Top 5. I think. All right. It's Embiid, Jokic, Cat, Drummond, and Gobert, in my opinion.
Yes. But Gobert is right now, he's a defensive player of the year candidate, right? Mike Conley has been doing better.
Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah, overall, they just Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year.
So good, so good. And Mike Conley got all-star votes. May I mention?
He was. I don't blame that. He was great this season.
Yeah, he's been great.
He hasn't been like this good in years.
Since he was back on the Grizzlies.
Exactly.
And he had injuries.
Yeah. But let's go to the other team that has been not doing so hot. They are in their last 10 games, they're 3-7. And
the Boston Celtics.
They are officially out of playoff contention. They're tied with the Heat for the 9th seed. What are your thoughts on the Celtics right now?
They're in a massive slump. They need to figure it out. I still believe that they are a top team in the East. I just think that once they get their groove again, they'll be a dangerous team once again. Because Jaylen Brown has been phenomenal. Jason Tatum has been great. But they've both been doing subpar in the past games.
And
also Kemba. Kemba's really streaky. One game. Good, bad.
Yeah, I agree with that. They have to be There's a lot of things I think that is going wrong. One thing is I feel like it's something like within the organization, like within the team chemistry, that something is getting screwed up, and that's why they've been slipping up.
Yeah.
That's
And Marcus Smart's also been out, and he's a really good defender for them.
that too. But I don't think it would have this much of an impact.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
But
Tatum and Brown are still good defenders.
yes. But the next thing was that, like you said, they need to be consistent.
Yep.
They're top three. Like you said, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker. Excellent players, top players in the league, but they need to be more consistent. Jaylen Brown has been, out of the three, he's been the most consistent. Kemba Walker's probably been the least consistent. He'll have 6 points and then he'll have 20. But Jason Tatum, he'll have 43 points and then he'll have like 3.
Yep.
So he's also got to stay more consistent. And the final thing is that they need a big man.
They do. They need to get Andre Drummond. They need
do.
to.
Yeah.
If they get Drummond, they will be a top 4 team in the East. And that'll be a lock. You can argue the Heat are better than them. If they get Drummond, it's a lock. Top 4 team.
I agree. That's the thing that they've needed since Al Horford left. So 2 years ago?
Horford's one of the reasons that they were the first seed and they beat out LeBron for it in 2017. Isaiah Thomas. Horford was great.
Yeah.
And Horford's still good. Horford's the reason why the Thunder are doing pretty good now.
Yeah, I mean, they're not terrible. He's definitely better than he was last year, because last year I thought he was a bum. But also that's probably because it was terrible coaching and he was like a fourth option.
Brown was not great.
This year it's better coaching and he's having more shine, but that's besides the point. The Celtics need to just do all these things. I think they'll still be able to make the playoffs, but if they can fix these things, especially getting a center will help them rise up in the playoff seeds, then that'll get them back in their groove.
Yes, I agree. Daniel Theis is not good enough.
No. That's all for today, everyone.
Feel free to comment down below what your thoughts were on the topics we discussed, and it's good to be back, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode.
Welcome back. Tune into the next episode on Monday. See you guys next time.